Ilia Topuria is my favorite fighter of all time, and even though I am the biggest casual on planet Earth who could not tell you one Damian Maya win or any fighter before 2015, seeing all my favorite fighters get slaughtered on the White House card was certainly one of the worst live experiences I have ever had. Aside from Pereira getting knocked out, Ilia Topuria, the aura monster, the undefeated matador, getting fucking pummeled and essentially getting 40-30 forward, losing like almost every single round was something pretty traumatic. And I am no longer the same man as a result. I am genuinely mentally distraught at the tortured, battered car victim level face of Ilia Topuria as he painfully crawled with his life for 13 minutes against Justin Rufus Gaethje. I'm trying to find others who could sympathize with my pain, like Flucus Glacy, and when I watch his videos, I get put to bedtime MMA. I'm joking, I like those guys, I promise. But nobody has brought me a sufficient level of equal suffering, so I will do it. I will look into the entire fight and the history of the fighters. Well, way more Topuria than Gaethje, because I don't really care that much for Gaethje, I'm sorry. But so I can never talk about this fight ever again. I rewatched it in the recording for this video, and I never want to do it again. I did not sleep well after the event, and I cannot shake off the thought of Ilya's defiled face all day when I was awake. Looking at the optics, there couldn't have been a bigger skill gap and disparity in status. Justin has strong power. Ilia is the hardest hitter in the history of the sport pound for pound. Justin has sloppy striking with zero placement. Ilia is the most precise striker probably that I've ever seen. Maybe next to Prime McGregor. Justin can't wrestle for shit, and Ilia out-wrestled the greatest submission artist in UFC history. Justin is 38 and past retirement age, and Ilia is 28 or 29 in his prime. On every front, it seemed like Ilia would decimate him, and the entire fanbase thought the exact same thing. If Ilia decimated the fighters who Justin lost to, like Charles and Max, and Justin basically got decimated by those guys, how was Gaethje gonna win? Let's not forget that Justin went 5 rounds with Burger Patty Pimblett, who got folded like a burger patty. Going into the fight, Ilia was recently spotted with this cut near his eye and a scar on his cheek. Whether Justin noticed this to exploit it in the fight later, I have zero clue. But going into the fight, Ilia looked good, man. As he walked into the arena, I sang along the lyrics to his theme. He had his hair slicked back like the villain, like he was really there to kill. You know he was on some evil shit. Yeah, this was it. This is when he makes history. I felt so damn good about this fight, man. Ilia loves aura gambling, and that's why he felt invincible. He said he was going to knock out Volkanovski, which was laughable, and then he did it. He said before the Max Holloway fight that he would be the first person to knock out Max Holloway, and that was not even imaginable. You remember when he fought Justin Gaethje for 5 rounds, went the distance and had a war, and he still never got knocked down or knocked out? A month before the Charles fight, he said that he would destroy him in 1 round, and he did it. It's a level of future sight and prediction among psychic levels that is unmatched and mind-bending. A month before the fight happened, Ilia set his profile from 17-0 to 18-0. He's saying before the fight even happened that he already won. He made a funeral video for Justin Gaethje saying that he was gonna die in the fight a month before it happened. And it was so insane to see the buildup for this. I was getting so giddy and hyper like a little girl. Like, yeah, he's gonna beat him up. Yeah, he's gonna lose, bro. Yeah. Come fight day, and Ilia is leaning? Ilia loves to put pressure on his opponents and slowly inch forward. Ilia can knock out basically anybody easily with his unrivaled power, so Volk and Max inch backwards, trying to play a little bit more of the ranged game in their fights. Charles tried to be a bit more aggressive and, well, look where it got him. Nobody can trade with Ilia Topuria pound for pound at close range, or else one punch means an instant loss sometimes. But today, he's leaning backwards a bit. He's not so heavy on the front foot there. He's not putting on that same pressure, I know. Alright, well, I guess Ilya's respecting Justin's power a lot, and he wants to be more defensive. After all, I don't think Ilya's ever fought a fighter that hits as hard as Justin Gaethje, so, it makes sense. Nothing wrong with that. They both get an occasional strikes in before Justin Doofus Gaethje grabs his head and does an evil uppercut that gets Ilya's eye, cutting the scar from earlier. Ilya's eye is leaking blood, and it's pretty bad. It's bad. Remember when Ilia got head kicked by Jai Herbert and it didn't seem that concerned during the fighter in between rounds 1 and 2? I understand he recovered and it hit him pretty badly, but he was never clutching his head, or he was visibly stunned, but he wasn't nearly as hurt as we saw him here. Remember when Ilia ate that elbow from Charles straight up and didn't react? If he's having to clutch his eye that badly, then something's dastardly wrong. And I understand him. I don't care who you are, Ilia, Topuria, or not. If you cannot see from one eye, you aren't beating anybody. Ilia clutches his eye as it leaks blood, and alright, one bad punch never killed anybody. Lucky shot, whatever. Ilia's recovered from worse hits. Ilia seems way stupider, like he's chasing a finish, and the fight will come to him. Ilia's acting like the knockout will just come to him instead of him putting in the effort first. Just watch the last 20 seconds of round 1, and it's like Ilia's fighting to kill, not fighting to win. Look how sloppy these in-pocket exchanges are compared to something like his precision against Josh Emmett. You could tell he really wants to fulfill that first round finish promise he made, and with such messy striking, it's rare that either of them are going to knock each other out. Once again, I'm a casual, maybe I don't know anything. But the end of round 1, fair enough. I think Gaethje won. He won the round, 10-9. He got a really good eye shot in there. Unexpected, but nothing insane. Apparently, Ilia just said on an Instagram post that he lost his vision in his right eye after the first round, which is, doesn't look good. Round 2, Justin throws random shit, and he throws random shit. Straight jabs and head kicks every 2 seconds. And he does more random shit. And he keeps spamming the jab. And that's fine. But Ilia's in trouble. If Ilia makes one wrong turn, now he could get kicked or punched in the eye really badly and get blinded. Ilia isn't blinded in both eyes, but one of his eyes is definitely in critical damage. If he gets hit once there, on top of him being blind, it could be really, really, really bad. Ilia's head movement and vision is impaired as a result of this and has to fight slower and not be of so much pressure. Perhaps as a result of his overwhelming confidence that he still kind of clinging on to, he could still knock him out. So Ilia keeps pushing forward in a very aggressive way. He keeps trying to throw jabs and almost pushes into Gaethje's punches. I think this is so weird how Ilia's acting, like he's almost chasing a finish still, even in his injured state, like he's kind of walking into the punches. I mean, just look how patient he is in the Max Holloway fight. Even when Ilia's straight up getting jabbed at a distance and he keeps being hit by Holloway, similarly to the Gaethje fight, for 30 seconds, when Ilia's just getting jabbed off and he can't react, he's just slowly closing in on Max, trying to find his angles. Ilia isn't scared like he is in the Justin fight. He isn't concerned like he is in the Justin fight. He sticks to the game plan and eats the shots constantly, scanning with his left hand to plan how he's going to use that. Judging distance and using it for feints. Look how much he paws that left hand out. If you look at Max's right hand, it's extraordinarily static and open to parry jabs and stop other attacks. Knowing this, Ilia used that elasticity from his hand on Max's static arm and used that to knock him out. Max's instinctive counter from his right hand to parry gets drawn out as Ilia feints the jab, pulling his guard down into a giant hook that eventually leads into the finish. It's a degree of planning and intelligence that brings you to GOAT levels. But in here, Ilia has no planning. There was none of that in this whole fight. It was like Ilia was desperately trying to just land shots, trying to get anything he could, rather than the deliberate, strong, well-paced, head movement heavy fighter that we know. It's like Ilia was trying to exploit Justin Gaethje's awkward, rough style, but considering Gaethje's on the back foot, it's very easy for him to adapt and counter Ilia's strikes instead of the other way around. Man, I'm sorry, but look how sloppy these takedowns are. He's killing me with this shit. And I thought watching this live, no way Justin the Fossil Gaethje ain't gonna out-wrestle Ilia. The guy who wrestled Oliveira and out-wrestled him, instantly put him in a crucifix and side control? What the fuck? Ilia's still at a half form here with the pressure as Gaethje backs up, but Ilia's still taking a far more aggressive and almost granted approach here. It's like he almost thought Gaethje would walk into the punches, but no. Ilia just gets swelled and beat. And it's not like Ilia's not landing. He's doing decent against Gaethje, but he's starting at a very bad position leverage-wise. And if he doesn't come up with something soon or have a plan, which he doesn't, it's going to be bad. Halfway through round 2, Ilia throws some bombs, and Gaethje is visibly hurt, scurrying back to the cage, trying to find solace in the octagon, as Ilia follows up with the signature combinations, not just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Dustin Pagey is getting constantly stunned by these ugly shots as Ilia tries to tip the scale. Combinations against stunned opponents against the cage. That's what he does well. Brutal liver blows, excellent head movement. The pressure is on and Gaethje shields up. Gaethje defeated, nearly steps back and crumbles up against the cage. He's on the floor. He's about to lose, and Ilia's too tired. He's too tired to finish him. So he lays on top of Gaethje and just sits on him for a minute, and that's the end of the round. And this is where it becomes over. It's so fucking frustrating that my GOAT Ilia Topuria would have finished Gaethje with just one more hit in this position, just one strong 12-6 elbow, just one strong ground and pound punch, just one more anything, and he could have been out cold. But no, as an Ilia Topuria fan, this moment had came, and he gassed himself out trying to trade and burn all his stamina and pain in the last 2 rounds. Knowing that the elusive grace of winning was just one punch away pisses me off, man. Round 3 is where it starts to get bleak. Ilia's fantastic power doesn't work because he's exhausted and can't punch very hard or fast. Ilia's excellent head movement and how he dodges punches doesn't work because he can't see out of both eyes and Gaethje starts targeting the other eye. If Ilia can't see out of his right eye and his vision is dying by the second round, Justin's going to keep targeting the other eye and uses attacks he can't see, like the uppercuts, high kicks to his blind eye, and other shots Ilia literally cannot see coming. Ilia's pressure and planning doesn't work because Ilia likes to plan when he has the advantage, when he already knows he's starting at a high point of leverage. And starting round 1, if Ilia had this plan from the beginning, he would have destroyed Gaethje. But no, when you cannot see and you're so injured with so many shots to your body and face, you plan for defense and survival, not pressure like he usually does, and trading. Ilia can predict Justin's movements very well. It's not that Justin isn't hurt in this fight, of course he is, but Justin is like the only fighter where if he gets tired, he kinda gets stronger and it's harder to tell what's going on. Usually when fighters get tired, they get weak or they throw sloppy punches. Justin swings so hard with every single swing, whether tired or not, that it's almost like he almost falls over with every single attack. You can't tell if he's so tired that he just threw his entire body into that punch, which is going to do a shit ton of damage, or he's not tired at all and just does it anyway and he has a second punch coming. So even if you read that, he could hit you again. It's a very awkward, rough style that I'm confident Ilia could read if he wasn't injured to this degree. Ilia can't use his fantastic wrestling because he's so exhausted that he can barely grab Justin without getting a hit. As the rounds go on, Justin has more accurate shots because Ilia is practically standing still. With so much pain and exhaustion, it's really building up on him. Justin can land consistent 60 to 70% shots, generating 10% of his stamina every couple of seconds, let's say. To help crystallize this concept further, it's a far better point of leverage than Ilia landing consistent, 10 to 20% shots, generating, let's say, also 10% of his stamina every couple of seconds. Justin is just so high up normally that even if they're both swinging at the same rate, Justin's going to outtrade him eventually. Justin's raw, rough, ugly strikes get harder to avoid. Ilia by the end of round 2 already looked bloody defeated and almost stopped. But now in rounds 3 and 4, it's almost like a shot down bird trying to fly with one wing, and it's just sad. Justin keeps throwing shots to blind Ilia's other eye, almost shuts him down, keeps with the kicks, keeps with the jabs, keeps hitting around his guard, and this is one of the best versions of Justin Gaethje that we've ever seen. His shot placement is actually pretty smart, and he's going around Ilia's guard. So much pressure that Ilia has to step back and stay burning stamina. When he started circling around the cage, as an Ilia fan, I thought maybe there was a hope. Maybe there was a hope that, he would land a Leon Edwards head kick last second and just knock him out. But that's not going to happen. I sort of knew deep down by round 3 that it's probably over. Ilia was way too exhausted by this point to do anything. And with so much pressure, when Ilia was running around the cage, I this is the most anti-Topuria body language I've ever seen. Eventually, Justin Gaethje breaks his rib, kneeing him when he's down, and pretty much it's over. In the last few seconds of round 4, when Ilia was basically rolling over, boneless from the damage he took, I knew it was over. Justin, the highlight, the legend Gaethje, beat the quote-unquote greatest fighter to ever live. Even Paddy the bum, who walks into every punch, lasted 5 rounds with Justin Gaethje. Ilia only lasted 4, being worse than all of his competition. He insulted Paddy for being a bum and losing to Gaethje, and Ilia took it even worse. He didn't even last that long. He lasted 4 rounds, not 5 rounds. He technically got finished. Ilia took far more visible damage than Paddy. Paddy, I don't have the stats pulled up. I'm pretty sure Paddy landed more significant strikes than Ilia did. All the aura gambles failed and backfired in aura suicide. In a honestly, almost, I hate to say it, but a really bad, horrendous performance when Ilia was known to have the greatest performances ever. And it's over now. Watching his previous fights against Max, Charles, and Volk, he said those insane things are already gonna happen. Ilia in those fights said, I'm gonna knock him out. I'll be the first person to do this. I'll be the first person to do that. I'm gonna take them out. But Ilia never fought like those events were already gonna happen. Ilya fought like he was gonna make it happen, only because Ilya respected his opponents. Could those possibilities be possible? It couldn't have happened if he just thought it was already gonna happen. He would have gotten submitted by Oliveira. And he couldn't fuck around until then. He treated his opponents with real respect. He didn't do that. He didn't do that for Gaethje at all. And I see tons of people saying, the CIA cloned Ilya. It's all Israel's fault. The Trump administration did this. They put rocks inside Gaethje's gloves on steroids. Shut up. No. As much as I would like to blame external forces, it's obvious. As even the biggest casual on the planet who knows jack shit about the sport, Ilya almost secured a submission and a knockout even in his broken, battered state because he was just skill-wise so far above Gaethje. Gaethje wasn't even really that skilled. He kind of just took advantage of what he had. It's clear that Ilya was levels above him because even exhausted, beat-up Ilya nearly submitted Gaethje. Exhausted, beat-up Ilya nearly knocked out Gaethje with just a couple of punches, as Gaethje needed 4 rounds to beat Ilya, as Ilya could have done it in 10 seconds. That's what happens when Ilya's trying, when he's got a clear head, when he's got the right opening off, that he much rather could have opened himself up if he didn't rush this fight. But Ilya's confidence is, I think, the best aspect about him. That's what makes him. His mentality was levels above almost everybody else, but the mentality went so far above to delusion. It's because of Ilya's confidence that he could be as patient, never panic, and cause him to have the best 3-fight win streak ever. And it's because of his confidence that got him to make stupid moves like try to trade, hunt for finishes, eat damage, and just destroy himself. Once again, not to harp on it, but just look at his last 3 fights before Gaethje, and it's like the man in here and the man in those fights are completely different people. Just watch the footage side by side, and it is day and night. I hate when people say shit like, he's a quitter, what? You went out there, bro. Ilya is a dog. He genuinely could have quit in round 3 if he wanted to. He pushed himself. The doctor came in and damn near stopped the fight, but Ilya wanted to continue. If he was a genuine quitter like Derek Lewis that night, that's what a quitter looks like. That's what a quitter is. Look at Derek Lewis's last fight too. That was not what Ilya did. Ilya fought to the death. This is some of the worst damage we've ever seen in that octagon. Even Tony Ferguson didn't even have it this bad. I genuinely think this is some of the worst, if not the worst damage any fighter has ever sustained while being awake. At least with knockout shots, you aren't ragged on during it. But if you take knockout level shots like that and just keep being ragged on as you're awake, I don't know what else to say. It is horrible. You guys gotta keep in mind, Ilya's still fighting in there round 4, 0 vision in both of his eyes, broken ribs, disfigured face, completely tired, exhausted, beat up, broken against Gaethje, who's going basically at 100% and divorced. Justin, she took the keys, Justin. Still, this is some of the most heart we've ever seen out of any UFC fighter, and we're gonna call him a quitter? How many UFC fighters can you think of, if they were in that position, would have fought like Ilia did? Do you think Islam or Khabib could have done much in that situation if you gave them that level of injury against that Justin Gaethje? I don't think so. I'm not saying Ilia should have won or that he couldn't have performed any better. I think he could have performed far better. Ilya's still a dog, and I get I'm kind of speaking to like the small minority here, but come on, this is one of the most insane fights I think I've ever seen. All props to Gaethje. He did his best and he deserves the belt more than Ilia, abso-fucking-lutely. At least right now. Ilya's confidence has been his best attribute, but it's taken over in this fight, and it makes some sense. Gaethje's a sloppy striker at retirement age on paper, but that's not how the fight game works. Fights don't just walk up into your hands and you just get to win. I think the source of Ilya's loss was a lack of respect and supreme self-belief to a degree of delusion. Too high. Call it ego.